Welcome to RobotShop TV. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Julie from RobotShop, here to announce the results of the Roomba 560 tests for the RobotShop Ultimate Challenge. As you know, the Roomba 560 was the first robot to go through these tests, and the results are quite impressive. We now go live to Vahan in the field, where he will present Roomba 560's performance. Hi Vahan.
Hi Julie.
The tests for the Roomba 560 are now complete, and we're curious to know how things went this week.
I will be glad, Julie, to explain the Roomba 500 series results for each test. So challenge number 1 is time to clean a room. The Roomba took pretty long actually for a room of this size and with no obstacles. It took more than 20 minutes. Now that's a long time. This is in part because of the Roomba's random program that it runs. So it's not the fastest robot we have. This might come back later to hurt the Roomba. Challenge number 2 is vacuuming debris. Extremely important task for a robot vacuum to do since that's its main job. It did okay, the Roomba. If you notice here, it's picking up bits of paper that we've put down for the first part of the test on carpet and on hard floor. It didn't do as good as we thought it would because the Roomba doesn't have a very powerful vacuum. Seems that the paper being very lightweight and flat is difficult for the Roomba to pick up without enough suction. Now, one good thing about the Roomba is it has 2 counter-rotating brushes, as many of you know. So in this case, you see now what's on the floor is nuts and bolts, small, they're hard, and they're heavy. It's very good at picking things up like this. You notice it's pretty much got almost all of them. So things where the suction is not going to make too much of a difference, where it's that heavy that it can't suck it into the vacuum, the brushes do very good. They grab it and they pick it up quite well. So the Roomba got a lot of points for picking up the nuts and bolts we put down. And the next part of the vacuuming debris challenge is actually hair, animal hair, and little bits of dust and dirt. As you see it here now on the carpet, we spread it all out. The Roomba did okay on this. Again, it's very light, it's very fluffy, it's kind of hard to pick up without enough suction. So again, the Roomba doesn't have enough suction with a small vacuum motor, so it didn't do extremely well on these. Now overall, it got 120 out of 240 points. You might say 50%, that's not very good. The Roomba did quite well actually, considering that it's an extreme test and we didn't give him, an hour to clean the little room we have set up here. So the Roomba got 120 points. We'd say that's pretty good. Challenge number 3 is a noise level test. If you're going to be using the Roomba at home, you want to know if it's going to be able to run at the same time while you're there. Now the Roomba did okay. It was average for what a vacuum should sound like in terms of noise level. It wasn't very quiet, but it wasn't extremely loud, so we didn't penalize it, but we didn't give it any points either. So for this test, it was average. Roomba takes away 0 points for the noise level challenge. Now the 4th test is the ability to see obstacles or avoid them. Here you see it's navigating this. It has to navigate on its own, otherwise it's not a very good vacuum. One place where it really shone was a light touch, so it gently touches obstacles. It sees them before it hits them, so that'll keep your furniture nice. Now you notice here we had to deal with wires and curtains, so it's able to spit out curtains or wires if it ends up chewing them up, so it got points for that too. Now number 5, the ability to climb obstacles. We had to climb half 1 and 1.5 centimeter plateaus. It sees the last one as a wall, whereas the others it can go over. So it got 15 out of 35 points for that test, which is pretty good. Now, cliff sensors. This is a no-brainer. If the robot doesn't have good cliff sensors, it's going to fall down your stairs or another cliff and damage itself. The Roomba has cliff sensors. They see cliffs. It gets 10 points. Let's move on. Number 7 and number 8 are kind of together, docking. The Roomba has a very intelligent docking system. Notice that beeline it took straight to the dock. And now notice here, number 8. It doesn't matter how far we pull it away, it turns itself back on, looks for the dock, and is able to get right in there. So it takes away 60 out of 65 points for both of these tests. Very good. Roomba really can dock. Black carpet. Not something everyone has to deal with, but occasionally we've heard complaints about this. Now notice the Roomba has no trouble at all. It's a very simple test, 10 points. The Roomba doesn't seem to have trouble with this at all, so you don't have to worry about the Roomba on your black carpets. High pile carpets, another type of carpet people have trouble with. If you have throw rugs or carpets here or there that are a bit shaggy, tend on the long side, this might be a problem. Roomba has no trouble. It has adjustable brushes, so the brushes change height according to the surface. So here it gets 10 points, so it passed the test with flying colors. Now, one important feature on all Roombas is the scheduling. If you want it to run while you're away, it has to be schedulable. The Roomba has a very straightforward, simple, but effective scheduling method. It's got the 5 buttons here for day, hour, minute, schedule, and clock. You just go through day by day. We were able to set 3 days in a relatively short amount of time. Roomba gets 50 out of 60 points, which is a very good score for the scheduling test, number 11. Now, number 12, battery performance. This is a surprising test. The Roomba, with a new battery obviously, has an incredible runtime, more than 2 hours. However, you'd think it would score very good with that. But considering that it doesn't use its time very efficiently, it takes a long time to clean a room, it didn't score as well as we thought it would because the ratio of how long it takes to clean a room versus how much battery power it has. So it only gets 10 out of 40 points. We were expecting more, but considering it's got a random program, it kind of sets it back here. This is what we're talking about in the first test, where we'd come back to hurt it later. Now, communicating with the user is very important. Older Roombas would just beep, these generic beeps, and you'd have to go look it up in a table or email the manufacturer. You weren't really sure. But the robot talks now. So the new generations are a lot better for the Roomba, and it tells you where the problem is. So it's less ambiguous. It's a big improvement. Roomba gets 22 out of 45 points here. Curious though, it doesn't get any points for communicating wirelessly or via internet. That's a feature we're looking for on robots now because it's something that's coming out. Roomba doesn't have it. We'll have to check the latest generation of Roomba for that feature. Now, maintenance. You buy the robot to do your vacuuming because it's something you don't want to do. But if you have to clean the robot all the time and it's a big chore, well, that's something that needs to be judged on. We're pretty harsh on these robots. We considered anything over 5 minutes to give 0 points because that's too much time. And the Roomba picks up really well, but things really get into those brushes and those bearings. So it was over 5 minutes for our technician here to clean this robot, so it gets 0 points. This is something that's a real nuisance for owners, and you have to clean it meticulously, otherwise you're going to wear out your brush system. So Roomba didn't shine too well here, but it's 5 minutes only, so I mean, you understand what's involved. Now the ultimate Labyrinth, last but not least. We had it tested starting from the bottom right corner, and also, as you'll see very soon, from the middle of the left side of the Labyrinth, which you'll see right here. So Roomba, even though it's got that random program, and you'll see a few places where it starts to bounce randomly, notice it's following the right wall. That's the best way to get out of maze. So that wall following feature really saves its bacon here. So the Roomba takes away 65 out of a possible 70 points, and that's a pretty respectable score. So overall, I got 435, which is a very good score. It did well. Back to you, Julie.
Thank you for explaining the test to us, Vahan.
It was my pleasure, Julie.
Now let's see a complete Roomba 560 scorecard. Our journey to find the perfect robot vacuum is just beginning, and we have many other robots to test. It is therefore time to select the second robot to be tested in our challenge. The Neato XV-11 will be tested next. Stay tuned to RobotShop TV for results of this very unique robot vacuum, and we'll be able to compare the results with the Roomba 560 scorecard presented in this episode. Don't forget to view the individual videos for the Roomba 560 online. Thank you for watching RobotShop TV.